With 6 days left until the election, let's hear now from former President Trump, unfiltered in his own words. And when he concludes, our ABC News Live team will be here to check the facts and break down the details of his plans. Let's listen in. Donald Trump greeting the fans there. I believe he's wearing a vest from the garbage truck that he appeared in earlier today. Of course, that garbage truck reference spinning off from the comedian that was at Madison Square Garden at his rally over the weekend, who said that described Puerto Rico as a floating island of garbage. And yesterday, President Biden saying that the only garbage he knows is Trump supporters, though he has said that he wasn't talking about his supporters in general, only that particular Trump supporter, that comedian. But Donald Trump really making a meal out of that commentary and saying that's how Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris have treated this country, as garbage. And he said whether they mean to or not, that is the reality. And there you see him wearing that garbage truck vest. Selena Wang is there. We see Donald Trump swaying to the music there. Selena, what's the expectation for Donald Trump tonight?
Yeah, well, he is certainly going to seize on those comments, as his campaign, of course, wants to take attention away from that Madison Square Garden rally where there were vulgar, sexist and racist comments that were made. So you see him really taking that and running with it. The Harris campaign, for their part, I've been talking to sources close to the campaign, and they're frustrated and dismissive of this entire situation. First of all, they bring up the fact that President Biden, of course, is not running for president, and also that what he said was taken out of context. They claim that Republicans are seizing on this, taking it out of context to distract what's actually at stake in this election. So I expect Donald Trump to seize on those comments and continue to rail against Democrats when it comes to the economy, immigration, key issues that he knows he holds the advantage on in these closing days before the election.
All right, Selena, we'll check back in with you. In the meantime, let's listen to former President Donald Trump.
And 50 million Americans are not garbage. This week, Kamala has been comparing her political opponents to the most evil mass murderers in history. And now, speaking on a call for her campaign last night, crooked Joe Biden finally said what he and Kamala really think of our supporters. He called them garbage. No way. No way. And they actually mean it, even though, without question, my supporters are far higher quality than crooked Joe or lying Kamala. Higher quality. My response to Joe and Kamala is very simple. You can't lead America if you don't love Americans. That's true. You can't be president if you hate the American people, which I believe they do. And Kamala Harris is not fit to be president of the United States. In no way is she fit. She doesn't have the intellect, the stamina, or that special quality that real leaders, people like Brett Favre, have. They don't have it. They don't have it. They don't have what he's got. Few people do, to be honest with you. Joe Biden's comments were the direct result of Kamala's decision to portray everyone who isn't voting for her, which is a lot of people, as evil and subhuman. And we know it's really what they believe, because look at how they've treated you. They treat you like garbage. They treat our whole country like garbage, with open borders, with all of the horrible things they've done to hurt our country, inflation that should have never happened, allowing Russia to go into Ukraine, October 7th, in Israel. All of these things would have never happened if you had a different president. For the past 9 years, Kamala and her party have called us racists, bigots, fascists, deplorables, irredeemables, Nazis, and they called me Hitler. They bullied you. They've demonized us. They've censored us. They've deplatformed us. And they weaponized the power of our own government against all of us. They've taken your money. They've thrown open your borders to criminals and terrorists. They've flooded your towns with deadly drugs and death. They're incompetent people. They've given your jobs to illegal migrants and sent our blood and treasure to fight in stupid foreign wars where the countries don't even know who we are and where we've never heard of the country. This Tuesday is your chance to stand up and declare you are not going to take it anymore. Six days from now, we can turn the page forever on this failed and corrupt administration. It's a corrupt administration, you do know that. We can declare once and for all that we are done with their hatred. We're done with their hysteria. We're done with their hoaxing, lying, cheating, scheming, plundering, and stealing. Oh, they steal. They steal. We're not going to let them divide and destroy America any longer. What we have built is the biggest, broadest, most incredible coalition and the greatest political movement in the history of our country. It's made up of hardworking men and women who make this country run, who really built this country. Originally, we have brought together veterans and union members, soldiers and steelworkers, farmers and auto workers, and patriotic moms and dads of every race, religion, color, and creed. We're welcoming historic numbers of African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, and Arab Americans. And we're uniting Christians and Jews, Catholics and evangelicals, Muslims and Mormons, and everyone who simply wants to do one thing: make America great again. Thank you. Our campaign has been endorsed by the 400,000 members of the Fraternal Order of Police and every single police group all around our country. It's been endorsed by the Border Patrol. We have the greatest people, that Border Patrol. Those agents are incredible. They've given me the strongest endorsement you've ever heard. The greatest president ever, they said. And they said, she is the worst person we've ever worked for. She, in 4 years, never called us one time about the border. And it's destroying our country, the border. So I want to thank the Border Patrol. I want to thank ICE. I want to thank ICE. They're incredible people. We've been supported by the rank and file membership of the Teamsters, 62%, think of that, by our beautiful and very brilliant Elon Musk. Do we love Elon? All I know is when that rocket ship came down last week, I said, oh, this is going to be terrible. It's going to crash. Look, oh, it's going to crash. It was coming down this way. And then those jets kicked in, the fire was pouring all over the place. I said, what's going on? And all of a sudden it started to be perfect, straight, dropped down. Then those arms grabbed it like you grabbed your little baby, grabbed it. And I said, who the hell pulled off that? I thought it was a science fiction movie, actually. I called up Elon. I said, Elon, was that you? He said, that was me. I said, that's why we love you, Elon. I said, can Russia do that? No, they can't. Can China do that? Nope, they can't. Can the U.S. do it other than you? No, they can't. I said, well, special guy, right? Special guy. Special guy. And we're endorsed also by a very brilliant and wonderful man, and it took a lot of courage for him to do this. As you know, their family's slightly Democrat for the last long period of time. RFK Jr., Robert F. Kennedy. And he's going to be with us, and he's going to make sure our food is safe, our people are safe, our women are safe. The only thing I don't think I'm going to have him get involved with too much is the liquid gold under our feet. I want to say, look, Bobby, we got a lot of liquid gold, and I like it better than he does, but I'm going to give him a lot. Just take care of everybody's health, and he'll do a great job of it. He's really a very special guy, special. And Tulsi Gabbard, respected by everybody, she just signed on and endorsed me and became a Republican. She just became a Republican. And another one is Buzz Aldrin. Now, I didn't realize this. I had respect for him for many years. Great astronaut, great person, highly respected. And I said, you know, he'd be good, but what's the big deal with Buzz? They said, sir, he just endorsed you, and he's never done that before. Wow. I said, listen, I want to mention his name. And I want to give a special thanks to a man that you may not have heard of, Brett Favre, because and his great family. What a beautiful boy, what a beautiful family. But this is a special guy. Man, does he have a hand, you know? This guy shook my hand. His fingers are like sausages. No wonder he can throw the ball so hard. There was nobody like him, really. I've watched him throw those 500-yard games like it was nothing. He was flinging it. He didn't throw it, he flung it, right? Thank you, Brett. What a great honor. What a great champion. What a great champion. And what a beautiful boy and family. Incredible wife. Thank you, darling, very much. Great honor to have you. Thank you, Brett. And I came in, I went on to play, and I'm watching, and I heard him get applause. And I'm a little upset because I think he got bigger applause than me, and I'm not happy. He got bigger than me. Thank you, Brett. Thank you, everybody. Isn't it an honor to have him? That's unbelievable. Kamala and Joe call all of us, and them, even them, garbage. I call you the heart and soul of America. You are the heart and soul. You built our country, you know? You built our country. You built it. Far more than they built it, I can tell you that. You built it. And by the way, I want to thank all of our incredible sanitation workers all across America. Because they work hard, they really do work hard. And they do an incredible job, and they don't get the credit they deserve, like our police, like our firefighters, like so many others. They don't get the credit, but everybody knows we love them, and everybody knows they deserve the credit, and they will get the credit. And with us, we appreciate them. With the help of everyone here today, on November 5th, we're going to bring back our country, and we're going to bring it to levels of greatness that nobody actually thought even possible. So we're going to do that. November 5th is going to be the most important day in the history of our country. I believe that because we are in a country right now that's in serious decline, and we're not going to let the country decline. We're in a failing country. We're in a country that's being laughed at all over the world by other leaders. They laugh at our leaders. We're not going to let that happen anymore. That didn't happen 4 years ago. So while we're running a campaign of solutions to save America, and America which they have virtually destroyed during their almost 4-year period of rule. Kamala Harris, a very low IQ individual, is running a campaign of hate, anger, and retribution. She spends all of her time complaining about everything, but does nothing about it. She talks about the border, but why didn't she do it 3.5 years ago? She talks about all these things. We're going to help the environment. Why didn't she do it? We had the best environment. By the way, we had the cleanest water and the cleanest air at any time in recorded history. She talks about what she's going to do about inflation, which has destroyed our senior citizens and our middle class, what they've done. You know, I had no inflation, and we had the best economy in history. That's a nice combination. But she did nothing about it, or what she's going to get. She's going to talk about how she's going to get the economy going. Oh, I watched her last night. I watched her. Oh, I'm going to get. She didn't say anything. She said, I'm going to get the economy, but she didn't say how. I said how. I said, we're going to bring companies in. We're going to protect those companies. They're going to take advantage of all of the things that we're doing. They're going to hire people at numbers that you wouldn't even believe. We're going to have hundreds and hundreds and even thousands of companies coming in to our country. And I will use a thing called the most beautiful word to me ever. Not quite. Well, let me say this. How about third? Let's put religion number 1 and love number 2. And then we'll put the word tariff number 3. Tariff. They're going to have to pay us to come in and use our wealth and take our jobs and do what they've done. But nobody ever did that except me. China paid us hundreds of billions of dollars. They weren't happy, but I still got along with them very well. And then COVID came, and I wasn't happy. That was a bridge too far. But we had the greatest economy in the history of our country. We took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China and others. And we were just getting started. But remember this, Kamala and Crooked Joe head up the worst administration in the history of our country by far. He's the worst president in the history of the USA, and she is by far the worst vice president in the history of the USA. Remember, 5 months ago, they said you couldn't even think about using her. She's grossly incompetent, right? Then all of a sudden, they wanted to get politically correct, and they chose her above 12 other people that, frankly, were much more capable. But what they did to Biden, and I'm no fan of his, but you know what the rumor is? He likes me more than her. Can you believe that? He likes me. He likes me more. But their administration makes Jimmy Carter's administration look absolutely brilliant. And in all fairness to Jimmy, he didn't let 21 million people pour into our country with thousands and thousands of criminals and murderers and drug dealers, people from mental institutions. They're emptying out, think of this, they're emptying out mental institutions from all over the world, from the Congo in Africa. They're all over the world, from Asia, from the Middle East, from South America. They're emptying their jails. Think of that. They're emptying their jails. They're emptying their mental institutions and insane asylums into the United States of America, and these two stupid people allow it to happen. 13,000 plus murderers, many of them committed more than one murder, and they're walking around in our country free and clear to kill again, and they will. They'll kill many times. And last night, Kamala made a speech with a lot of paid audience. They had a lot of paid audience. They came in buses, the same buses, all those same buses. You know what that means? They bust people in. We didn't bust any people in here. We could have sold this place out 4 times. No, they come in, they bus them from someplace, they pay them or something. They bus them in with every bus, beautiful bus company, I will say, they did a nice job, bus after bus. And then they leave before she finishes. But listen, the worst was 4 nights ago, they got Beyonce, Beyonce. They got Beyonce. They said, ladies and gentlemen, they said, Beyonce is coming to sing. And she came, but she didn't sing. And then Kamala came on as Beyonce was leaving without singing even one song. And they booed the hell out of both of them. But we don't need Beyonce. We don't need anybody. All you got is me, and I don't have a guitar. I do not have a guitar. But if you look outside, you could have sold this big arena out 4 times. And at Madison Square Garden the other night, you could have sold that great, incredible, look, Madison Square Garden, MSG, the greatest, I think the greatest, right? It's got to be. It's Mecca for the great championships. In the history of Madison Square Garden, they told me, Jim Dolan, everybody, they're fantastic, the job they did for us Sunday night. They said, you could have sold this thing 10 times. We've never seen. In all of those years, they had crowds of people, and I don't mean lines, I mean massive groups of people, all the way back down to the Hudson River. We could have sold it out 10 times. And that's just based on what we're saying. But she spoke last night, and it was boring as hell, but I have an obligation to watch it, you know, because she's our competition. We have to win. We can't take it. They would destroy this country. If they won this thing, they would destroy. You'd have 300 million people coming through, not just 21. Can you imagine? Open borders policy for the entire world, for every criminal in the world. But she talked last night, and all she talked about was Donald Trump.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I will speak about Donald Trump. Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump.
Donald Trump there at a rally in Green Bay, playing a video of Kamala Harris speaking last night at the Ellipse in Washington, D.C. So far, he's talked to the audience saying that Kamala Harris doesn't have the intellect or stamina of a leader. He has described the Biden-Harris campaign as a corrupt administration. He said, you can't lead America if you don't love the American people. He said this Tuesday you can stand up and say we're not going to take it anymore. He ordered his favorite words in religion, love, and then tariffs. Want to go right to ABC's Selena Wang in Washington, D.C. And Selena, you were there as Harris gave her closing argument last night, the video that he was just showing on the screen there. How do you think that Trump's comments tonight compare in tone and message?
Yeah, Lindsay, the contrast could not be starker. You know, Donald Trump on the campaign trail, he often paints a very dark picture of America, of a country in decline. Vice President Harris, on the other hand, she's tried to present this message of joy and optimism while she's also been hitting harder on those points about the fact that she believes Donald Trump is unfit to be president, to be in the Oval Office. She was there at a very symbolic place. You and I were talking about this last night to show the weight of the job. She had the White House behind her. She was standing at the exact same place where Donald Trump had spoken to protesters before they stormed the Capitol on January 6th. She wanted to paint a vivid picture to Americans about what a future could look like under Donald Trump versus herself. Now, Donald Trump, he is often very light on policies. He often says tariffs, tariffs, tariffs. You heard that repeated today, whereas Vice President Harris was more specific in her policy plans out on the campaign trail at the Ellipse yesterday and through her blitzing through battleground states today as she details her plans to lower costs for Americans.
And what stuck out to you as far as what Trump has said on those key voter issues, the economy and also the border, both of which he's discussed tonight?
Yeah, again, Donald Trump every time he's on the campaign trail, he hammers this point that he believes the economy is in decline, that he believes the Biden-Harris administration has failed when it comes to the border. But that is not reflected in the data. In fact, there was new economic data that came out today that shows the economy continues to fire on all cylinders. It shows that consumers are spending. It shows that inflation is slowing, though the Biden-Harris administration admits that they understand many Americans are still feeling the pinch of years of higher prices. And when it comes to the border, Donald Trump often uses disparaging comments to describe illegal immigrants, talking about how they are bringing crime and drugs into the country. But the data shows that illegal immigrants commit crimes at lower rates than U.S. citizens. In addition to that, I just want to read you some data. The latest data from the Customs and Border Protection shows that since Biden made stricter tightening rules to tighten the border in June, illegal crossings have actually fallen by more than 55% to the lowest level in more than 4 years. But Linsey, you and I know that the economy and the border are some of the key issues for voters, and it's an issue that Donald Trump currently has the advantage on, according to the polls, so he's continuing to hammer those two issues.
All right, Selena Wang for us. Thanks so much.